Welcome back to Animeversalore. Today, we enter a completely new ninja era. What if Sasuke became Hokage? A new Hokage, a new vision, and a new future for the shinobi world. So sit back, relax, and let's begin this epic story. The fourth great ninja war was finally over. The battlefield was silent. The villagers had lost countless shinobi, but for the first time in generations, the five great nations stood together. In the center of it all stood Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. They had fought side by side to save the world, but their beliefs were still different. Naruto wanted to bring peace by connecting people. Sasuke believed peace could only exist if someone was strong enough to control the darkness threatening the world. Years passed. Konoha entered a new era. Naruto became one of the most respected shinobi in history. His dream of becoming Hokage seemed closer than ever. But something unexpected happened. The sixth Hokage, Kakashi Hatake, announced his retirement. The village council gathered to decide who would become the next Hokage. Everyone expected Naruto's name to be announced. But Kakashi had another idea. I believe the village needs someone who understands both its light and its darkness. Quote, the room became silent. Kakashi looked toward the doorway. Sasuke Uchiha. The entire council froze. Even Naruto was shocked. Sasuke had spent years traveling outside the village, protecting Konoha from threats that no one else knew existed. But becoming Hokage, that was something nobody had imagined. Sasuke stepped forward. I don't want this position for power. He looked at Naruto. I want it because I know what happens when a village ignores the people living in its shadows. Quote, Naruto smiled. For the first time, he understood. Sasuke had changed. The boy who once wanted to destroy Konoha was now willing to protect it. Kakashi placed the Hokage hat in Sasuke's hands. Then prove that you've changed the future. Quote, Sasuke looked toward the village. The next morning, the entire Hidden Leaf gathered outside the Hokage monument. The crowd was enormous. Sasuke stood on the balcony wearing the Hokage cloak. The village waited for his first words. He looked across the streets. I am not the Hokage Konoha expected. The crowd remained silent. I am the Hokage Konoha needs. Naruto stood among the crowd and smiled. Sasuke continued. For generations, shinobi were taught to fight until they became strong enough to survive. Quote, his eyes became serious. But this era will be different. We will create a world where children don't need to become weapons. The crowd erupted in cheers. And that day, Sasuke Uchiha became the seventh Hokage. But neither Sasuke nor Naruto knew that his appointment would soon change the entire shinobi world. Because deep beneath the ruins of an ancient battlefield, something had awakened. Something that had been waiting for the perfect moment to return. And its first target was the new Hokage. The new threat. 3 months had passed since Sasuke became the seventh Hokage. Konoha had already begun to change. Sasuke introduced new security systems around the village, strengthened the Shinobi Academy, and created a special unit dedicated to protecting civilians instead of simply fighting enemies. Naruto often visited the Hokage's office. You know, Naruto said while sitting across from Sasuke, you're actually becoming a good Hokage. Sasuke looked at him. That's surprising coming from you. Naruto laughed. I just never thought I'd see the day when you actually liked paperwork. I don't. Sasuke pushed a huge stack of documents toward Naruto. That's why you're helping me. Quote, Naruto's smile disappeared. Wait, what? Before they could continue, the door suddenly opened. Sakura rushed inside. Sasuke, we have a problem. Sasuke immediately became serious. What happened? Quote, Sakura placed a scroll on the desk. This came from the border patrol. Sasuke opened it. His expression changed. An entire patrol team disappeared. Sakura nodded. No bodies. No signs of battle. They simply vanished. Naruto stood up. Maybe it's a kidnapping. Sasuke shook his head. Not ordinary kidnapping. He pointed toward the report. There are no footprints, no chakra traces, and no signs of struggle. Quote, Naruto looked at him. Then what are we dealing with? Sasuke's Sharingan activated. I don't know yet. He turned toward the window. But whoever did this knows exactly how shinobi operate. Later that night, Sasuke personally traveled to the border with Naruto and Sakura. The forest was completely silent. They reached the location where the patrol had disappeared. Sasuke closed his eyes and activated his sensory abilities. Nothing. Then he noticed something carved into a tree. A strange symbol. Sakura examined it. I've never seen this before. Naruto touched the mark. Suddenly, the ground shook. A massive chakra wave exploded through the forest. Sasuke immediately drew his sword. Naruto, move. A dark figure appeared on a nearby cliff. His face was hidden beneath a black mask. You finally came, 7th Hokage. Sasuke stared at him. Who are you? The masked man laughed. I am the first warning. Naruto stepped forward. Warning for what? The masked man looked directly at Sasuke. Your era is already ending. Before Sasuke could react, the stranger disappeared. Sasuke stood silently. Then he noticed something on the ground. A black metal plate. Engraved into it was the symbol of an organization that had supposedly disappeared decades ago. Sasuke's eyes widened. The Shadow Clan. Quote. Sakura looked confused. Who are they? Sasuke tightened his grip on the plate. An organization created to destroy the 5 great villages. Naruto looked toward the dark forest. And now they're back. Quote. Sasuke's expression became cold. Then they chose the wrong Hokage to challenge. The Shadow Clan had returned. For decades, their existence had been nothing more than an old legend known only to a handful of shinobi. But Sasuke now understood that the legend was real. Back in Konoha, Sasuke summoned Kakashi, Shikamaru, Sai, Sakura, and Naruto to the Hokage's office. Sasuke placed the black metal plate on the table. Kakashi's expression immediately became serious. I thought this organization was destroyed. Sasuke looked at him. So did everyone else. Shikamaru picked up the plate. According to the old records, the Shadow Clan believed the 5 great villages were responsible for endless wars. Quote. Sakura asked, what happened to them? Kakashi answered. Their leader was defeated during the First Great Ninja War. The remaining members disappeared. Naruto crossed his arms. Then why attack us now? Quote. Sasuke looked at the village outside the window. Because the world is becoming peaceful. Everyone looked at him. Sasuke continued. They don't want peace. They believe peace has made shinobi weak. Quote. Shikamaru understood immediately. So they're trying to restart the war. Sasuke nodded. We can't allow that. Suddenly, an Anbu shinobi entered the room. Hokage-sama, we've received another report. Quote. Sasuke turned. What happened? The Sand Village has lost contact with its border patrol. Naruto's expression changed. The Sand Village too. The Anbu nodded. And there's more. He placed another black metal plate on the table. Sasuke stared at it. The same symbol. Shikamaru stood up. They're attacking the villages one by one. Sasuke immediately made a decision. Naruto, Sakura, Sai, and Shikamaru will accompany me. Naruto smiled. Looks like the old team is getting back together. Sasuke looked at him. Don't get careless. Naruto nodded. I know. A few hours later, Sasuke and his team arrived near the border of the Land of Wind. But they didn't find an enemy army. They found something much worse. An entire village had been evacuated. Buildings were destroyed. The streets were empty. And in the center of the village stood a giant black symbol. Sasuke approached it. His Sharingan activated. Suddenly, he sensed hundreds of chakra signatures underground. Sasuke's eyes widened. Everyone, get back. The ground exploded. Dozens of masked shinobi emerged from beneath the village. Naruto entered Sage mode. Sakura cracked her fists. Sai summoned his ink creatures. Shikamaru formed his hand signs. And Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. A masked warrior stepped forward. You are the 7th Hokage. Quote. Sasuke raised his sword. Yes. The warrior removed his mask. His eyes were completely black. You became Hokage because you wanted to change the shinobi world. He smiled. But you made one mistake. Quote. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. What mistake? The warrior's chakra suddenly exploded. You believed the shinobi world could actually change. The battle began. Naruto rushed forward while Sasuke disappeared in a flash. 2 Shadow Clan warriors attacked Sakura. She destroyed the ground with a single punch. Sizing beasts surrounded another group. Shikamaru trapped several enemies with his shadow possession jutsu. But the masked warrior ignored everyone. His eyes remained fixed on Sasuke. I didn't come here to fight your friends. Sasuke raised his sword. Then why are you here? The warrior smiled. Because I came to test the seventh Hokage. Quote, his chakra transformed into a massive dark aura. Sasuke's Sharingan focused on him. For the first time since becoming Hokage, Sasuke realized something. This enemy wasn't testing his strength. He was testing whether Sasuke was worthy of becoming Hokage at all. Sasuke stood face to face with the masked warrior. The battlefield had become completely silent. Naruto and the others could feel the enormous chakra coming from their opponent. Naruto shouted, Sasuke, be careful. His chakra is different from anything I've felt before. Sasuke didn't move. His Rinnegan focused on the warrior. Tell me your name. The warrior removed the rest of his mask. My name is Raisin. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Raisin. Raisin smiled. I am the leader of the Shadow Clan. Naruto immediately stepped forward. You are the one behind the attacks. Raisin looked at Naruto. You are still protecting him. Quote, Naruto frowned. He's the Hokage. Raisin laughed. Exactly. The Uchiha who once wanted to destroy Konoha is now its Hokage. He looked at Sasuke. Do you really believe the shinobi world has forgiven you? Quote, Sasuke remained calm. I don't need forgiveness. Raisin's smile disappeared. Then you are still the same Sasuke. He suddenly disappeared. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. A powerful strike came from behind. Sasuke blocked it with his sword. The impact pushed him several meters backward. Naruto rushed toward Raisin. Rasengan. Raisin raised one hand. A dark barrier appeared. The Rasengan collided with it and exploded. Naruto was thrown backward. Sakura caught him. Naruto, I'm fine. Sasuke looked at Raisin. His opponent had stopped Naruto's attack without even moving. Raisin raised his hand. Dark chakra spread across the battlefield. Every Shadow Clan shinobi suddenly became stronger. Shikamaru noticed it. That chakra is being transferred from Raisin to the others. Sasuke understood. He's controlling them. Raisin smiled. Correct. Quote, Sasuke activated Susanoo. A massive purple warrior appeared around him. Raisin looked impressed. So this is the power of the seventh Hokage. Sasuke's Susanoo swung its sword. Raisin jumped over the attack. Sasuke switched positions with a nearby rock using Aminotegakara. Raisin was caught off guard. Sasuke appeared behind him. You're finished. Sasuke's sword struck, but Raisin disappeared into darkness. Sasuke's eyes widened. Shadow substitution. Raisin appeared above him. A black blade formed in his hand. He attacked. Sasuke blocked the strike, but the force sent him crashing through several buildings. Naruto became furious. Sasuke. Sasuke slowly stood up. Blood ran down his face. But he smiled. Naruto looked surprised. Why are you smiling? Sasuke wiped the blood from his face. Because now I understand. Quote, Raisin stared at him. Understand what? Sasuke's Rinnegan began glowing intensely. You've been studying my old fighting style. Raisin remained silent. Sasuke continued. You know how I used to think. Quote, his Sharingan focused on Raisin. But you don't know the Hokage I have become. Sasuke raised his sword. I don't fight alone anymore. Naruto smiled. That's right. Sasuke looked at his allies. Everyone, listen carefully. Shikamaru immediately understood. Sasuke was preparing a coordinated attack. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. Sakura gathered her chakra. Sai prepared his strongest ink creatures. Shikamaru expanded his shadow across the battlefield. Sasuke activated his Susanoo. Raisin looked at them. For the first time, his expression showed uncertainty. Sasuke pointed his sword toward him. This is the difference between the old Sasuke and the seventh Hokage. Naruto stood beside him. We protect each other. Sasuke's Susanoo began gathering enormous chakra. The Shadow Clan warriors stepped backward. Raisin clenched his fist. Then show me. Sasuke looked directly into his eyes. And the final battle of the first Shadow Clan invasion began. The battlefield erupted. Naruto moved first. He disappeared in a flash and appeared directly in front of Raisin. Rasengan. Raisin blocked the attack with his dark chakra. But before he could counter, Sasuke appeared behind him. Amano Tejikara. Raisin suddenly found himself surrounded. Sakura struck the ground. The earth shattered beneath the Shadow Clan warriors, throwing them into the air. Seizing dragons rushed forward and restrained them. Shikamaru extended his shadow across the battlefield. Shadow Possession Jutsu. Quote, several enemies froze instantly. Naruto smiled. Now, Sasuke. Sasuke raised his sword. Amaterasu. Black flames spread across the battlefield. Raisin jumped away, avoiding the flames. But Sasuke had already predicted his movement. His Susanoo appeared behind Raisin. A massive arrow was released. Raisin created a dark shield. The arrow struck. The shield cracked. Raisin was thrown backward. He landed on one knee. For the first time, blood appeared on his face. He touched it and looked at his fingers. You actually injured me. Sasuke stood inside his Susanoo. I told you. His voice was calm. I'm not the Sasuke you remember. Raisin suddenly laughed. You think defeating me will end this? Sasuke's expression changed. Raisin stood up. You still don't understand. The dark chakra around him began disappearing. The Shadow Clan warriors also stopped fighting. Naruto looked confused. Why are they retreating? Raisin raised his hand. A black mark appeared in the sky. Sasuke immediately sensed something wrong. Everyone, move. The mark exploded. A massive wave of darkness spread across the battlefield. Sasuke used Susanoo to protect Naruto, Sakura, Sai, and Shikamaru. When the darkness disappeared, Raisin and the Shadow Clan warriors were gone. Only the black metal plates remained. Naruto looked around. They escaped. Sasuke shook his head. No. Everyone looked at him. Sasuke picked up one of the metal plates. They wanted us to find these. Shikamaru examined the symbol. There must be a message hidden inside. Quote, Sasuke activated his Sharingan. The symbol changed. A map appeared on the metal plate. Sakura stared at it. That's impossible. Naruto asked, what? Sakura pointed toward the map. It shows the locations of all 5 great villages. Quote, Shikamaru's expression became serious. Not just that. He pointed to several red marks. There are hidden bases beneath every major village. Sasuke understood the plan. The Shadow Clan isn't trying to destroy one village. Quote, Naruto clenched his fist. They're planning to attack all 5 at the same time. Sasuke looked toward the horizon. The first battle had been won. But it had only revealed the true scale of the enemy. Back in Konoha, Sasuke immediately contacted the other cage. The Hokage's office became the center of an emergency meeting. Gaara appeared through a communication technique. The Raikage joined next. Then the Mizukage and Tsuchikage. Sasuke placed the map before them. The Shadow Clan has returned. Gaara's expression became serious. And they're targeting all of us. Sasuke nodded. We have one advantage. Quote, the other cage looked at him. They think we will defend our villages separately. Naruto smiled. So we do the opposite. Sasuke looked around the room. We unite. For the first time since the 4th Great Ninja War, all 5 great nations prepared for a single enemy. But far away, inside an ancient underground fortress, Raisin stood before a massive stone throne. A mysterious figure sat upon it. Raisin lowered his head. The 7th Hokage has accepted the challenge. Quote, the figure opened its eyes. Good. A strange chakra filled the chamber. Now we can begin the real war. Raisin smiled. The new ninja era will soon belong to us. The emergency meeting continued through the night. Sasuke stood before the other cage with the map of the Shadow Clan spread across the table. We can't defend every village with our current forces, the Raikage said. Gaara nodded. Then we don't defend the villages separately. Quote, Sasuke looked at him. Exactly. Naruto smiled. The 5-cage alliance. For a moment, everyone remained silent. The last time the 5 great nations had united against a common enemy, the world had nearly been destroyed. This time, however, things were different. Sasuke placed his hand on the map. The Shadow Clan knows our weaknesses because they've studied our history. Shikamaru pointed toward the marked locations. These bases are connected. Sakura looked at him. What does that mean? Shikamaru replied, if we destroy one base, the others may become stronger. Sasuke nodded. Which means attacking randomly will make things worse. Quote. Gaara asked, then what's your plan? Sasuke looked around the room. We attack all 5 bases at exactly the same time. The Hokage smiled. That's risky. Sasuke answered calmly. So is allowing them to attack first. Quote. The plan was approved. The 5 villages began preparing their strongest shinobi. Konoha sent Naruto, Sakura, Sai, Shikamaru, and several Anbu units. The Sand Village sent Gaara's elite guards. The Cloud Village prepared its strongest combat squad. The Mist and Stone villages also mobilized their forces. For the first time, the new generation of shinobi stood together. But Sasuke knew something was missing. He looked toward Naruto. I want you to stay in Konoha. Quote. Naruto immediately frowned. What? You'll protect the village? Naruto crossed his arms. You know I won't just sit here. Sasuke smiled slightly. I know. Naruto looked at him. Then why ask? Quote. Because I need someone I trust to protect the people while we're gone. Naruto became silent. Sasuke continued. If the Shadow Clan has planned everything this carefully, they may have another target. Quote. Naruto understood. Konoha itself. Sasuke nodded. Meanwhile, hundreds of kilometers away, inside the Shadow Clan fortress, Raisin entered a massive chamber. The mysterious figure was still sitting on the stone throne. Raisin bowed. The 5 great nations have united. The figure smiled. Just as expected. Raisin looked confused. You knew they would unite. Of course. The figure stood. This is exactly what I wanted. Quote. Raisin's eyes widened. Why? The figure walked toward a massive stone wall. 5 symbols were carved into it. Konoha, Suna, Kumo, Kiri, Iwa. The figure placed his hand on the wall. 5 villages. Quote. Dark chakra began spreading across the symbols. 5 sources of power. Raisin finally understood. You don't want to destroy the villages. The figure turned toward him. No. His eyes glowed red. I want to absorb them. Back in Konoha, Naruto suddenly felt a strange disturbance in the air. He looked toward the Hokage monument. A black mark had appeared on the stone. Naruto's expression became serious. So that's their real plan. He immediately activated Sage Mode. Everyone, prepare for battle. Across the world, the same black mark appeared near each great village. The Alliance had begun its attack. But the Shadow Clan had already started their real operation. The 5 great nations launched their attacks at the same moment. In the Land of Wind, Gaara led the Sand Shinobi toward an underground Shadow Clan base. In the Land of Lightning, the Hokage personally destroyed the entrance to another hidden fortress. The Mist and Stone Shinobi also began their assaults. But Konoha was different. Naruto stood on top of the Hokage monument. The black mark on the stone continued spreading. Sakura arrived beside him. Naruto, the mark is growing. Naruto stared at it. It's not attacking the village. Sakura looked confused. Then what is it doing? Quote. Naruto placed his hand near the symbol. It's absorbing chakra. Suddenly, the entire village shook. Shinobi across Konoha felt their chakra being pulled away. Naruto immediately entered 6 Paths Sage Mode. Everyone, stay calm. The villagers looked toward the Hokage monument. A dark barrier formed around Konoha. Sakura realized what was happening. The Shadow Clan created a barrier around the village. Quote. Naruto nodded. And it's connected to the other villages. Far away, Sasuke felt the same disturbance. His Rinnegan activated. The operation has started. Gaara looked at him through the communication technique. Should we retreat? Sasuke shook his head. No. The Hokage asked, why? Sasuke replied, because this is exactly what they want. Shikamaru understood. They want us to leave the bases and return to our villages. Quote. Sasuke nodded. If we retreat, they'll absorb the chakra from every village without resistance. Gaara tightened his fist. Then we destroy the bases. Sasuke looked at the enemy fortress ahead. Yes. The Alliance continued its attack. Inside the underground base, Sasuke finally encountered Raisin again. Raisin smiled. I knew you would come. Sasuke drew his sword. Where is your leader? Quote. Raisin laughed. You still don't understand. Sasuke's Sharingan activated. Then explain. Raisin pointed toward the ceiling. The real battle isn't happening here. Sasuke suddenly sensed an enormous chakra signature. His eyes widened. That chakra. Raisin smiled. You felt it. Sasuke turned toward Konoha. The chakra was coming from the village. Naruto. But it wasn't Naruto's normal chakra. Something was wrapping itself around the Nine Tails chakra inside him. Sasuke immediately understood. They're using Naruto as the central power source. Raisin nodded. Your best friend is powering the entire operation. Sasuke's expression became cold. You won't touch him. Quote. Raisin attacked. Sasuke blocked the strike. Their battle resumed. Meanwhile, in Konoha, Naruto collapsed to one knee. Sakura rushed toward him. Naruto. Naruto looked up. His eyes had changed. A strange black pattern had appeared around them. Sakura stepped back. Naruto, what's happening? Naruto struggled to breathe. I don't know. Then a voice echoed inside his mind. You were always the key. Quote. Naruto froze. The voice continued. And now your chakra belongs to us. Naruto's eyes widened. Inside his mindscape, Kurama suddenly appeared. The Nine Tails looked toward the darkness surrounding them. Naruto. Naruto turned. Kurama's expression was unusually serious. This isn't an ordinary sealing technique. Naruto asked, then what is it? Kurama growled. They are trying to awaken something that has been sealed inside your chakra for centuries. Quote. Naruto's expression changed. What? Kurama looked toward the darkness. The Shadow Clan isn't trying to steal the Nine Tails. He paused. They are trying to use the Nine Tails to awaken the original source of their power. Quote. Naruto stared at him. What source? Kurama's eyes narrowed. The ancient shinobi. Outside, the black mark on the Hokage monument suddenly cracked open. A massive wave of dark chakra exploded across Konoha. Every shinobi stopped, and deep beneath the village, something ancient began to awaken. Deep beneath Konoha, the ground began to shake. The black mark on the Hokage monument expanded rapidly. Naruto stood in the middle of the village, struggling to control the strange chakra surrounding him. Inside his mindscape, Kurama stared at the darkness. Naruto, listen carefully. Naruto looked at him. What do I do? Don't fight the chakra directly. Why? Because it's connected to you. Naruto clenched his fists. Then I'll break the connection. Kurama shook his head. If you do that, the backlash could destroy your chakra network. Naruto became silent. Outside, Sakura and the Anbu tried to protect the villages. Suddenly, a massive crack appeared across the ground. A hand made of black stone emerged from beneath Konoha. Sakura stared at it. What is that? The hand grabbed the ground. Then a gigantic figure began rising from beneath the village. Naruto looked toward it. The figure was covered in ancient armor. Its face was hidden behind a cracked mask. And its chakra was so enormous that every shinobi in Konoha could feel it. The figure slowly opened its eyes. Red eyes. 3 black tomo appeared inside them. Naruto whispered, that isn't possible. Inside the mindscape, Kurama growled. The ancient shinobi. The creature looked toward Naruto. You carry the chakra of the Nine Tails. Quote. Naruto stepped forward. And who are you? The creature raised its hand. I was the first warrior to unite the ancient clans. Sakura looked shocked. First warrior. The creature continued. I created the original shinobi system. Quote. Naruto's expression changed. Then you're responsible for everything that came after. The creature looked at him. I created strength. Naruto replied. You created conflict. The creature smiled. Conflict is what makes shinobi strong. Naruto shook his head. No. He entered 6 Paths Sage mode. People become strong when they have someone worth protecting. The ancient shinobi stared at him. For the first time, its expression changed. You speak like the sage. Naruto replied. I learned from his mistakes. Suddenly, the creature attacked. Naruto created several Rasengan. The 2 powers collided. A massive explosion destroyed several buildings. Sakura immediately ordered the Anbu to evacuate civilians. Naruto continued fighting, but the ancient shinobi was incredibly powerful. Every Rasengan was blocked. Every attack was countered. Naruto was eventually thrown across the village. He crashed into the ground. The ancient shinobi approached. You cannot defeat me alone. Naruto slowly stood. I don't have to. Quote. A familiar voice came from behind him. Because you're not alone. Naruto turned. Sasuke stood there. His Hokage cloak was torn. Blood covered his face, but his eyes were burning with determination. Naruto smiled. Took you long enough. Sasuke raised his sword. I had to finish something first. Raisin appeared behind him. The leader of the Shadow Clan was badly injured. But he was still smiling. Sasuke looked toward the ancient shinobi. This is the one you worshipped. Raisin nodded. He is the beginning of the shinobi world. Sasuke's expression became cold. Then we'll end his reign. Naruto stood beside Sasuke. The two friends looked at each other. No words were needed. They both knew what they had to do. The seventh Hokage and the hero of the fourth great ninja war stood together once again. But the ancient shinobi raised both hands. Dark chakra filled the sky. You believe friendship will defeat me. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. No. Naruto's chakra erupted. We believe the new generation will. Quote. The final battle for the future of the shinobi world had begun. The sky above Konoha turned completely dark. Massive clouds of chakra covered the village as the ancient shinobi prepared his attack. Sasuke stood beside Naruto. Sasuke said, Naruto, I'll distract him. Naruto nodded. And I'll find his weakness. The ancient shinobi raised his hand. Thousands of black chakra blades appeared in the sky. Die. The blades rained down. Sasuke activated Perfect Susanoo. The massive purple warrior appeared above Konoha and blocked the attack. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. He created dozens of shadow clones. Now, the clones attacked from every direction. The ancient shinobi destroyed them one after another. But Sasuke suddenly appeared behind him. Amano Tejikara. Sasuke switched places with one of Naruto's clones. His sword struck the ancient shinobi's armor. The armor cracked. The ancient shinobi stepped backward. Sasuke noticed the crack. Naruto. Naruto understood immediately. He gathered chakra into his hand. Rasengan. The ancient shinobi blocked it. But Naruto's real attack was coming from below. A second Naruto emerged from underground. Rasen Shuriken. The attack struck the cracked armor. The ancient shinobi was thrown into the air. Sakura watched from below. They found a weakness. Shikamaru arrived beside her. No. He looked at Sasuke and Naruto. They found a way to create one. Meanwhile, Rasen stood behind the battlefield. He watched his master being pushed back. His expression changed. This isn't possible. The ancient shinobi suddenly turned toward him. Rasen. Rasen froze. You failed. The ancient shinobi raised his hand. A black seal appeared on Rasen's chest. Rasen screamed as his chakra began disappearing. Sasuke looked shocked. He is draining his own followers. Shikamaru immediately understood. That's how he's been maintaining his power. Quote. Naruto clenched his fist. He doesn't care about anyone. The ancient shinobi absorbed Rasen's chakra completely. His power increased dramatically. Sasuke's eyes widened. He's stronger now. Naruto looked at him. Then we become stronger too. Sasuke smiled. That's exactly what I was thinking. Sasuke released his Susanoo. Naruto gathered the remaining 9 tails chakra. The two powers began merging. Kurama's chakra surrounded Naruto. Sasuke's Susanoo formed around him. A massive combined chakra form appeared over Konoha. The ancient shinobi stared at them. What is this? Naruto answered. This is what you never understood. Quote. Sasuke continued. Power isn't about controlling others. Naruto raised his hand. It's about standing together. Their combined attack exploded forward. The ancient shinobi created a massive dark barrier. The two forces collided. The entire village shook. The barrier began cracking. The ancient shinobi struggled. No. Another crack appeared. I am the source of the shinobi world. Sasuke shouted. And we're creating its future. The barrier shattered. The ancient shinobi was struck directly. His ancient armor broke apart. For a moment, everything became silent. Then the darkness covering Konoha disappeared. The black mark on the Hokage monument vanished. Naruto fell to the ground. Sasuke caught him. You okay? Naruto smiled. Yeah. He looked toward the sky. The village is safe. Sasuke looked at the ancient shinobi. The enemy was still standing. Barely. The ancient shinobi removed his broken mask. His true face was finally revealed. Sasuke's eyes widened. Naruto stared at him. The face was familiar. Very familiar. The ancient shinobi looked directly at Sasuke. You are an Uchiha. Sasuke remained silent. The ancient shinobi smiled. Then you should know the truth about your clan. Sasuke's expression became serious. What truth? The ancient shinobi pointed toward the Hokage monument. The Uchiha were never meant to protect Konoha. He paused. They were created to protect me. Sasuke's eyes widened. For the first time since becoming Hokage, he questioned everything he knew about his clan's history. Sasuke stood completely still. The ancient shinobi's words echoed through his mind. The Uchiha were created to protect you. The ancient shinobi nodded. Your ancestors were not simply warriors. They were guardians of my power. Quote, Naruto stepped forward. You're lying. The ancient shinobi looked at him. Why would I need to lie when your Hokage already knows the truth? Sasuke's eyes narrowed. What truth? The ancient shinobi raised his hand. A strange image appeared in the air. Sasuke saw ancient Uchiha warriors standing before the ancient shinobi. They were not fighting him. They were protecting him. Sasuke watched silently. Then another image appeared. An ancient Uchiha sealed a portion of the ancient shinobi's chakra inside their own bloodline. Sasuke finally understood. The Sharingan. The ancient shinobi smiled. Exactly. Naruto looked at Sasuke. That's why the Sharingan was so important to them. Sasuke clenched his fist. Then every generation of Uchiha carried your chakra without knowing it. Yes. Sasuke's expression became cold. And you used that power to manipulate them. Quote, the ancient shinobi shook his head. I gave them power. They chose how to use it. Sasuke raised his sword. My clan suffered because of that power. The ancient shinobi stared at him. Your clan suffered because humans feared what they could not understand. Quote, Sasuke remembered Itachi, his childhood, the massacre, the hatred that had consumed him for years. His eyes became filled with anger. You don't get to talk about my clan. His Rinnegan activated. The ancient shinobi prepared to attack. But Naruto stepped beside Sasuke. You're not fighting this alone. Sasuke looked at him. Naruto smiled. You taught me something when we fought. Sasuke understood. Never carry everything alone. Naruto nodded. The ancient shinobi suddenly attacked. A massive wave of dark chakra rushed toward them. Sasuke activated Susanoo. Naruto created hundreds of shadow clones. The clones surrounded the ancient shinobi. Rasengan. The battlefield exploded with chakra. Sasuke used Amino-Tejikara repeatedly, switching positions with his clones and attacking from impossible angles. The ancient shinobi struggled to keep up. Sakura joined the battle. She struck the ground with enormous force. The impact disrupted the ancient shinobi's balance. Shikamaru immediately trapped his shadow. Now, Sasuke. Sasuke raised his sword. Amaterasu. Black flames covered the ancient shinobi. He screamed and released a massive burst of chakra. Everyone was thrown backward, but the flames continued burning. The ancient shinobi looked at Sasuke. You have inherited the strongest abilities of your clan. Sasuke walked forward. No. His sword remained raised. I inherited their mistakes too. He looked toward Naruto. And I learned from them. Naruto gathered chakra in his hand. Let's finish this. Sasuke nodded. Their attacks combined once again. This time, the ancient shinobi's power began collapsing. The dark chakra disappeared from the sky. The ancient armor shattered completely. The ancient shinobi fell to his knees. Sasuke stood before him. It's over. The ancient shinobi looked at Sasuke. No. He smiled. You defeated my body. His eyes suddenly began glowing. But you haven't discovered what lies beneath Konoha. The ground started shaking again. Sasuke's expression changed. What did you do? The ancient shinobi laughed. A Hokage protects the village. He looked directly at Sasuke. But can you protect what is buried beneath it? A massive crack opened beneath the Hokage monument. Something enormous began moving underground. Naruto looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, what is that? Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. His expression became serious. I don't know. Then a massive chakra signature emerged from beneath Konoha. Even Kurama became silent. For the first time, Naruto felt genuine fear. The ancient shinobi smiled. The real secret of the Uchiha is about to awaken. The ground beneath Konoha continued to shake. Cracks spread across the streets. The Hokage monument began collapsing as something enormous pushed upward from beneath it. Sasuke immediately shouted, "Everyone, evacuate the village." Anbu shinobi began moving civilians toward the outer gates. Naruto looked at Sasuke. "Can you sense what it is?" Sasuke closed his eyes and activated his Rinnegan. A massive chakra signature moved beneath them. "It's not a normal creature." Sakura asked, "Then what is it?" Quote, Sasuke opened his eyes. "It's a chakra core." Naruto looked confused. "A chakra core?" Sasuke nodded. "The ancient shinobi didn't build this place as a prison. He looked toward the Hokage monument. He built it as a seal." Suddenly, the ground exploded. A massive black structure emerged beneath the monument. It looked like an enormous stone tree, covered with ancient Uchiha symbols. Sasuke stared at it. "I've never seen these symbols before." The ancient shinobi laughed weakly. "Of course you haven't." Sasuke turned toward him. "Why?" "Because the truth was erased from history." Naruto stepped forward. "Then tell us the truth." The ancient shinobi looked toward the ancient structure. Long before Konoha existed, the first Uchiha discovered a source of chakra beneath this land. Sasuke looked at the structure. "What source?" The ancient shinobi replied, "The root of shinobi chakra." Everyone became silent. The root existed before the villages, before the clans, before the modern shinobi system. Sasuke looked at the symbols. "And my ancestors sealed it." "Yes." The ancient shinobi smiled. "They realized that no human should possess unlimited chakra." Naruto asked, "Then why did you want it?" The ancient shinobi's expression became cold. "Because I believed humanity needed someone powerful enough to control the world." Sasuke raised his sword. "And you failed." The ancient shinobi looked at him. "Did I?" The ancient structure suddenly began absorbing chakra from the ground. Naruto felt Kurama's chakra being pulled toward it. Kurama roared inside his mind. "Naruto, stop it." Naruto struggled. "I can't." Sasuke immediately used Aminotegakara. He switched places with Naruto and placed himself between Naruto and the structure. The chakra began pulling Sasuke instead. Sasuke's Rinnegan glowed intensely. Naruto shouted, "Sasuke!" Sasuke gritted his teeth. "I can hold it." The ancient shinobi smiled. "That is why you were chosen." Quote, Sasuke looked at him. "Chosen for what?" "The final seal." Sasuke suddenly understood. The Uchiha were never created to protect the ancient shinobi. They were created to keep the root of shinobi chakra sealed. The ancient shinobi had manipulated the truth so that future generations would forget their real purpose. Sasuke looked toward the ancient structure. "If I seal it again, what happens to you?" The ancient shinobi smiled. "My existence is connected to it." Naruto understood. "If Sasuke seals the root, you'll disappear." The ancient shinobi laughed. "Correct." Sasuke raised his sword. "Then it's time to end this." The root began releasing enormous amounts of chakra. Sasuke's Sharingan and Rinnegan activated simultaneously. Naruto stood beside him. "I'll help." Sasuke shook his head. "No." Naruto looked surprised. "This is my responsibility." Naruto smiled. "That's exactly what I thought you'd say." He stepped forward. "But I'm still helping." Sakura joined them. Then Shikamaru. Then the shinobi of Konoha. One after another, they stood behind their Hokage. Sasuke looked back at them. For the first time, he realized something. Being Hokage wasn't about carrying the village alone. It was about giving everyone a reason to stand together. Sasuke raised his sword toward the ancient root. "Everyone, lend me your chakra." Thousands of shinobi raised their hands. Their chakra began flowing toward Sasuke. The root started shaking. The ancient shinobi's smile disappeared. "No." Sasuke's eyes glowed. "This is the new ninja era." A massive chakra seal formed above Konoha. The final sealing battle had begun. The entire village became surrounded by a massive sealing formation. Thousands of shinobi stood together, lending their chakra to Sasuke. The ancient shinobi watched in disbelief. You think the power of ordinary shinobi can stop me? Sasuke stood at the center of the formation. They aren't ordinary anymore. The chakra of Konoha flowed through him. Naruto stood beside him, adding the power of Kurama. Sakura and the other shinobi strengthened the seal. The ancient shinobi raised both hands. Dark chakra exploded from his body. Then let me show you the difference between your era and mine. The root of shinobi chakra began releasing enormous waves of energy. The first wave hit the ceiling formation. Sasuke was pushed backward. Naruto grabbed his shoulder. Don't give up. Sasuke steadied himself. I'm not. The ancient shinobi attacked again. This time, the entire formation cracked. Sakura shouted, the seal won't hold much longer. Shikamaru looked at the pattern. There is too much chakra coming from the root. Sasuke understood. We don't need to overpower it. Naruto looked at him. Then what do we do? Quote, we redirect it. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. The 6 paths of chakra spread across the formation. Naruto immediately understood the plan. If we redirect the chakra back into the root, it will seal itself. Quote, Sasuke nodded. But I need someone to reach the center. Naruto smiled. Leave that to me. Naruto entered 6 paths sage mode and rushed toward the root. The ancient shinobi tried to stop him. Sasuke appeared in front of him. Amano Tejikara. Sasuke switched places with Naruto. The ancient shinobi's attack missed. Naruto reached the center of the root. He placed his hand against it. Kurama. Quote, the 9 tails chakra exploded from Naruto. Let's do this. Kurama's voice echoed. Together, Naruto released the full power of his chakra. Sasuke redirected it through the ceiling formation. The root began absorbing its own energy. The ancient shinobi screamed. No. His body started breaking apart. Sasuke looked at him. Your time is over. The ancient shinobi stared at Sasuke. You think this will create peace? Quote, Sasuke answered. No. He lowered his sword. Peace isn't something one person can create. Naruto stepped beside him. It's something everyone has to protect. The ancient shinobi's body turned into particles of dark chakra. His final words echoed across the village. Then prove it. The root began disappearing. The ancient symbols shattered. The massive structure collapsed into dust. The black marks across the 5 great nations vanished simultaneously. The Shadow Clan's bases lost their power. Across the world, the remaining Shadow Clan warriors dropped their weapons. The war was over. Hours later, Konoha became peaceful again. The damaged buildings were being repaired. The villagers gathered around the Hokage monument. Sasuke stood silently, looking at the destruction. Naruto walked toward him. You okay? Sasuke nodded. I'm thinking. About what? Sasuke looked at the village. About what kind of Hokage I want to be. Naruto smiled. You already know. Sasuke looked at him. Naruto continued. You're the first Hokage who knows what it's like to hate the village. Sasuke remained silent. That's why you're going to make sure nobody else feels that way. Sasuke smiled slightly. You've become wise. Naruto laughed. Don't tell anyone. Sakura walked toward them. The 5 Kage are waiting. Quote, Sasuke turned. What do they want? To discuss the future of the shinobi world. Sasuke looked at the rebuilt village. The future. He put on his Hokage hat. Then let's build it. The next morning, representatives from all 5 great nations gathered in Konoha. For the first time, they weren't meeting to prepare for war. They were meeting to change the shinobi system. Sasuke stood before them. The old era was built on fear, revenge, and power. He looked toward Naruto. Our new era will be built on cooperation. The 5 Kage agreed. A new treaty was signed. The shinobi villages opened their academies to students from other nations. Joint missions were created. Children were taught diplomacy alongside ninjutsu. And for the first time in history, the 5 great nations began working as one. Sasuke Uchiha had become Hokage. But his greatest achievement wasn't defeating the ancient shinobi. It was proving that someone who once wanted to destroy Konoha could become the person who helped create its brightest future. 6 months had passed since the ancient shinobi was defeated. The world had changed. The 5 great nations were no longer preparing for another war. Their shinobi worked together, exchanged knowledge, and protected one another's borders. Konoha had become the center of this new alliance, and at the center of it all stood Sasuke Uchiha, the seventh Hokage. One morning, Sasuke stood on the roof of the Hokage office, looking over the village. Naruto walked up behind him. "You've been standing here for an hour." Sasuke didn't turn around. "I'm thinking, that's dangerous." Sasuke smiled slightly. Naruto stood beside him. "The village looks different." Quote, Sasuke nodded. "It is different." Below them, children from different villages were training together at the academy. A young sand shinobi practiced alongside a Konoha student. A cloud shinobi was teaching another student lightning techniques. For the first time, the differences between villages were becoming less important. Naruto smiled. "You actually did it." Sasuke looked at him. "We did it." Suddenly, an Anbu shinobi appeared. Hokage-sama. Quote, Sasuke turned. "What happened?" "We received a message from the land of iron." Sasuke took the scroll. His expression immediately changed. Naruto noticed. "Bad news." Sasuke opened the scroll. The message contained only one sentence. The ancient shinobi was not the original source of the root. Naruto's smile disappeared. "Then what was?" Sasuke continued reading. Another line appeared. "Something older is waking beneath the world." Sasuke slowly folded the scroll. Naruto looked at him. "Tell me that's some kind of joke." Sasuke shook his head. "No." Naruto sighed. "Of course." Sasuke looked toward the academy. "We just created a new era." Naruto nodded. "So we protect it." Sasuke put the scroll away. "Not by fighting alone." Naruto smiled. "Then what?" Sasuke looked toward the horizon. "By making sure every village stands together." Quote, that afternoon, Sasuke summoned the 5 Kage. Gaara appeared first. "What happened?" Sasuke placed the scroll on the table. The other Kage read it. The Raikage frowned. "Another enemy?" Sasuke shook his head. "Not necessarily." The Mizukage asked. "Then what are we dealing with?" Sasuke looked at Naruto. "Something connected to the origin of chakra." The room became silent. Gaara finally spoke. "Does this mean another war?" Quote, Sasuke answered calmly. "No." He placed his hand on the alliance treaty. "This time, we prepare before the danger arrives." The 5 Kage agreed. A new organization was created. It wasn't an army. It wasn't an Anbu unit. It was something completely different. A team made from the strongest shinobi of every nation. Their mission was simple: protect the new era. Sasuke gave the team its name. The Shinobi Alliance Guardians. Naruto became their field commander. Sakura became their medical and research leader. Gaara represented the sand. The Raikage selected the cloud's strongest warriors. The other nations followed. The new generation had begun. But far beneath the earth, beyond the deepest caves and ancient seals, a pair of enormous eyes slowly opened. A voice echoed through the darkness. The ancient shinobi failed. Another voice answered. Then let the seventh Hokage discover what true power looks like. The ground beneath the entire shinobi world began to tremble. And this time, the threat was not coming from one village. It was coming from beneath them all. The tremors spread across the entire shinobi world. In Konoha, buildings shook. In the sand village, the desert began splitting apart. In the cloud village, lightning appeared in a completely clear sky. The 5 Kage immediately realized that this was not a natural disaster. Sasuke stood inside the emergency meeting room. Everyone felt it. Gaara nodded. The chakra came from underground. The Raikage slammed his fist onto the table. How deep? Shikamaru examined the information gathered by the sensory teams. Too deep for ordinary shinobi to reach. Sasuke looked at Naruto. Then we'll have to go deeper. Naruto smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. Quote, Sakura placed several ancient scrolls on the table. I've been studying the records recovered from the ancient shinobi's fortress. Sasuke opened one of the scrolls. A strange symbol appeared. Sakura pointed toward it. This symbol existed before the Uchiha. Sasuke's expression became serious. How old? Older than the village system. Older than the known shinobi clans. Naruto looked at the symbol. Does it have a name? Quote, Sakura shook her head. Not exactly. She opened another scroll. but the ancient texts call it the Void Core. The room became silent. Shikamaru asked, "What does it do?" Sakura answered, "According to the records, it doesn't create chakra." Quote, she looked at Sasuke. "It consumes it." Sasuke immediately understood. That's why the ancient shinobi wanted the root. Sakura nodded. The root wasn't the source of chakra. It was a barrier protecting the world from the Void Core. Quote, Naruto clenched his fist. So the ancient shinobi wasn't the real threat. Sasuke shook his head. He was protecting his own power, but he accidentally weakened the barrier. Gaara looked at Sasuke. Can the Void Core be sealed again? Sasuke remained silent. Sakura answered, maybe. Naruto asked, what do you mean by maybe? We don't know what is inside. Suddenly, the room shook violently. A crack appeared across the floor. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. Everyone felt a massive chakra signature rising beneath Konoha. Then a voice echoed through the village. Seventh Hokage. Sasuke walked toward the window. Show yourself. The sky above Konoha turned black. A massive portal opened above the village. Something stepped through. It looked human, but its body was covered in dark markings. Its eyes were completely white. Naruto entered Sage mode. That doesn't look friendly. The stranger looked down at Konoha. I am not your enemy. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Then why are you here? The stranger looked directly at him. Because your Hokage title means nothing against what is coming. Sasuke remained calm. Who are you? The stranger slowly descended. My name is Kuro. Sasuke prepared his sword. Kuro raised his hand. I was the first guardian of the Void Core. Naruto stepped forward. Then tell us how to stop it. Kuro looked at Naruto. I can't. Naruto frowned. Why? Because the seal has already broken. The ground suddenly split open. A wave of darkness spread across Konoha. Sasuke immediately created Susanoo around the village center. Naruto released Kurama's chakra. Kuro looked toward the massive crack. It has awakened. Sasuke stared into the darkness. Two enormous eyes opened beneath the village. Kuro whispered, and now it knows that the seventh Hokage exists. Sasuke raised his sword. Then let it come. Quote, the darkness beneath Konoha began rising. This time, Sasuke wasn't defending the village from an invading army. He was defending the entire shinobi world from something that had existed before history itself. The darkness beneath Konoha continued rising. Sasuke stood at the center of the village with his Rinnegan activated. Naruto stood beside him. Sakura and the Anbu evacuated the remaining civilians. Kuro watched the massive crack beneath the Hokage monument. It has awakened completely. Sasuke asked, how do we stop it? Kuro looked at him. You can't destroy the Void Core. Naruto frowned. Then what's the point of fighting? Kuro answered, you must prevent it from reaching the surface. Quote, suddenly, enormous black tendrils erupted from the ground. Sasuke activated Perfect Susanoo. The tendrils struck the Susanoo repeatedly. Naruto created hundreds of shadow clones. Everyone, protect the civilians. Quote, the shinobi of Konoha attacked the tendrils together. Sakura destroyed several with her strength. Size Ink beasts restrained others. Shikamaru coordinated the entire defense. But the darkness continued spreading. Sasuke realized something. It's feeding on our chakra. Kuro nodded. Every attack makes it stronger. Naruto stopped. So we can't fight it normally. Sasuke looked toward the giant crack. We need to seal it. Quote, Kuro shook his head. Only someone carrying the ancient Uchiha seal can enter the Void Core. Sasuke's eyes widened. Me. Kuro nodded. The seal is in your blood. Naruto immediately stepped forward. Then I'm coming with you. Sasuke shook his head. No. Naruto frowned. Why? Someone has to protect Konoha. Naruto looked around. The entire village was under attack. He understood. Sasuke turned toward the crack. I'm the Hokage. He tightened his grip on his sword. It's my responsibility. Naruto grabbed his shoulder. Then come back. Sasuke looked at him. I will. Sasuke jumped into the darkness. Naruto watched him disappear. Inside the Void Core, Sasuke found himself surrounded by complete darkness. There was no ground, no sky, only endless black space. Then a voice echoed, Uchiha. Sasuke looked around. Show yourself. Quote, the voice laughed. You carry the blood of those who betrayed me. Sasuke's Rinnegan activated. I don't care about ancient history. The voice replied. Then you will learn. Suddenly, thousands of memories appeared around Sasuke. He saw the first Uchiha. He saw the ancient shinobi. He saw the creation of the villages. He saw wars that had never been recorded. Then Sasuke saw something impossible. A figure standing behind the ancient shinobi. A figure controlling him. Sasuke's eyes widened. So you were behind everything. The figure turned. Its eyes were completely black. I have been behind every attempt to control chakra. Sasuke raised his sword. Who are you? The figure smiled. I am the consciousness of the void core. Sasuke prepared to attack, but the figure continued. I don't want to destroy your world. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Then what do you want? Quote, the figure answered. I want to become human. Sasuke remained silent. The entity continued. For thousands of years, I have existed without a body. I have watched your wars. I have watched your hatred. Quote, and now I have found the perfect vessel. Sasuke immediately understood. Me. The entity smiled. Yes. Sasuke's Sharingan began glowing. The ancient Uchiha seal appeared across his body. The entity moved closer. You are the seventh Hokage. You carry the Rinnegan. You possess Uchiha blood, and your chakra has been strengthened by the power of the root. Sasuke raised his sword. But you forgot one thing. Quote, the entity stopped. Sasuke's eyes became cold. I don't fight alone. Outside the void core, Naruto suddenly felt Sasuke's chakra surge. Kurama looked toward the darkness. Naruto smiled. I know. Inside the void core, Sasuke's chakra began connecting with Naruto's. The entity's expression changed. Impossible. Sasuke stood ready for battle. Let's see how powerful you really are. Quote, inside the void core, Sasuke stood surrounded by darkness. The entity stared at him. You cannot defeat me. Sasuke raised his sword. I'm not here to defeat you. The entity paused. Then why did you enter? Quote, Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. I'm here to seal you. The entity laughed. You believe an ancient Uchiha seal can contain me. Sasuke answered. Not alone. Suddenly, Naruto's chakra appeared around Sasuke. Kurama's voice echoed through the darkness. You've got company. Sasuke smiled slightly. Naruto's chakra connected with his. The entity stepped backward. The nine tails. Naruto's voice echoed. You should have done your research. The entity attacked. A massive wave of darkness rushed toward Sasuke. Sasuke activated Perfect Susanoo. The attack collided with the Susanoo and shattered part of its armor. Sasuke countered with Amaterasu. Black flames spread through the darkness. The entity absorbed them. Your flames cannot burn nothingness. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Then I'll give you something to burn. Quote, he used Aminotegakara. The entity suddenly found itself surrounded by hundreds of Naruto clones. Rasengan. Hundreds of attacks struck simultaneously. The void core shook violently. The entity released a massive shockwave. Every clone disappeared. Sasuke was thrown backward. Naruto's chakra weakened. The entity moved toward Sasuke. You are powerful. It raised its hand. But your power has limits. Sasuke slowly stood. Blood ran down his face. Everyone has limits. He looked at his hands. But limits can be surpassed. The ancient Uchiha seal began glowing. The entity's expression changed. What are you doing? Sasuke replied. Using the power you feared. The seal spread across his entire body. The void core began collapsing around him. The entity tried to stop it. Stop. Sasuke continued. I spent my entire life believing power meant standing above everyone. Quote, he remembered his childhood, Itachi, Naruto, his battles, his mistakes. Then he remembered becoming Hokage. Sasuke's eyes became calm. But being Hokage taught me something. Naruto's chakra grew stronger. Power means protecting everyone. The seal expanded. The entity screamed. No. Sasuke raised his hand. Uchiha sealing art. A massive symbol appeared beneath the entity. The darkness began getting pulled toward it. But the entity resisted. You cannot seal me without sacrificing yourself. Sasuke remained calm. Then I'll take that risk. Naruto shouted from outside. Sasuke. Sasuke heard him. Naruto's voice became stronger. You don't have to sacrifice yourself. Sasuke looked toward the source of Naruto's chakra. A smile appeared on his face. You're right. The seal suddenly changed. Instead of consuming Sasuke's chakra, it began connecting with Naruto's. The power of their bond became part of the seal. The entity struggled. What is this power? Sasuke answered. Trust. The entity began disappearing. The void core collapsed around them. Sasuke's body was thrown backward. Naruto's chakra caught him. Outside Konoha, Naruto caught Sasuke as he emerged from the massive crack. Sasuke fell unconscious. Naruto held him. Sasuke. Sakura rushed toward them. He's alive. Naruto sighed in relief. The darkness beneath Konoha disappeared. The sky returned to normal. Kuro looked toward the village. The void core has been sealed. Naruto asked. Forever. Kuro shook his head. No seal lasts forever. Naruto looked at Sasuke. Then we'll protect it until the next generation is ready. Kuro smiled. That is exactly what the new ninja era is supposed to be. Several days later, Sasuke woke up in the hospital. Naruto was sleeping in a chair beside him. Sasuke looked around. What happened? Naruto woke up immediately. You nearly died. Sasuke smiled. But I didn't. Naruto laughed. Yeah, you got lucky. Quote. Sasuke looked toward the window. Konoha was peaceful again. The Hokage monument stood untouched. Sasuke slowly sat up. How long was I asleep? 3 days. Sasuke sighed. I have work to do. Quote. Naruto stared at him. You almost died and the first thing you think about is paperwork. Sasuke looked at him. I'm the Hokage. Naruto laughed. Some things never change. Outside the hospital, the new generation of shinobi continued their training. The 5 great nations remained united. The world had survived another threat. And Sasuke Uchiha had finally understood what being Hokage truly meant. Not ruling the shinobi world. Not possessing the greatest power. But protecting a future that belonged to everyone. Several months passed after the Void Core incident. The shinobi world had finally returned to peace. The 5 great nations continued their alliance, and the new generation trained together. Sasuke had recovered completely, but something had changed. He had become more open with the villagers. He personally visited the academy. He met young shinobi. He listened to their problems. And slowly, Konoha began seeing him not as the former rogue ninja. Not as an Uchiha who once wanted revenge. But as their Hokage. One morning, Sasuke was reviewing reports when Naruto entered the office. You need a break. Sasuke didn't look up. I'm working. Naruto placed a bowl of ramen on the desk. Then work and eat. Sasuke looked at the ramen. You brought this from Ichiraku. Obviously. Sasuke sighed. You haven't changed. Naruto smiled. Neither have you. Before Sasuke could respond, an Anbu shinobi appeared. Hokage-sama. Sasuke immediately became serious. What happened? We found something near the northern border. The Anbu placed an old stone tablet on the desk. Sasuke examined it. Ancient Uchiha symbols were carved into the surface. Naruto looked at it. Another ancient seal. Sasuke shook his head. No. He touched the tablet. The Sharingan activated automatically. A message appeared. To the 7th Hokage. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. The message continued. If you are reading this, the Void Core has already been sealed. Naruto's expression changed. Who wrote it? Sasuke continued reading. But sealing the Void Core awakened something else. A second line appeared. The Moon Clan has returned. Sasuke froze. Naruto looked at him. Moon Clan. Sasuke nodded slowly. I've never heard of them. The Anbu shook his head. Neither have the archives. Quote. Sasuke looked at the tablet again. A final message appeared. They will come for the descendants of the sage. Naruto's expression became serious. That's us. Sasuke stood. Not just us. He looked toward the village academy. Every shinobi carrying ancient chakra. Suddenly, the tablet cracked. A strange symbol appeared in the air above it. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. The symbol began transmitting an image. A man appeared. Long white hair, pale skin, silver eyes. He looked directly at Sasuke. 7th Hokage. Sasuke stared at him. Who are you? The man smiled. My name is Ray. Naruto stepped forward. Are you from the Moon Clan? Quote. Ray nodded. We watched your world for centuries. Sasuke raised his sword. Why reveal yourselves now? Ray answered calmly. Because the Void Core is no longer protecting your planet. Sasuke's expression changed. What do you want? Ray looked toward Naruto. We want the chakra that belongs to our ancestors. Naruto clenched his fist. You're not taking anything. Ray smiled. Then prepare yourself. The transmission disappeared. Sasuke looked at Naruto. The new era isn't going to stay peaceful. Naruto smiled. Then we'll protect it. Sasuke put on his Hokage cloak. Call the Shinobi Alliance Guardians. Naruto nodded. This time, however, the threat was not coming from the Earth. It was coming from the Moon. The warning from Ray spread through the 5 great nations. Within hours, the Shinobi Alliance Guardians assembled in Konoha. Sasuke stood before them. Naruto, Sakura, Gaara, Shikamaru, Sai, and elite shinobi from every village were present. Sasuke placed the ancient tablet on the table. The Moon Clan has returned. Gaara studied the symbol. Do we know their strength? Sasuke shook his head. No. Shikamaru looked at the tablet. Then we have a problem. Naruto smiled. That's why we have an alliance. Sasuke looked toward the sky. Their first target will probably be Naruto. Naruto pointed at himself. Why me? Sasuke answered. Because your chakra contains the strongest remaining connection to the sage's lineage. Naruto looked at Kurama's seal. So they want the 9 tails. Not only the 9 tails. Sasuke opened another scroll. They want the chakra of every descendant connected to the sage. Sakura understood. That means the entire shinobi world. Quote. Sasuke nodded. Before anyone could speak, the sky suddenly changed. The moon became surrounded by a strange silver aura. Shikamaru looked upward. That's not normal. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. I can see something. Naruto asked. What? Objects. Hundreds of glowing spheres began falling from the sky. Sasuke immediately shouted. Everyone, defend the village. The spheres stopped in midair. They opened. White armored shinobi emerged from inside them. The Moon Clan had arrived. Their eyes were pale and their chakra was unlike anything the Alliance had encountered. One of them descended towards Sasuke. You are the 7th Hokage. Sasuke raised his sword. Yes. The warrior looked at him. You carry the blood of Indra. Sasuke's expression changed. And you carry the blood of the sage's other descendants. Quote. The warrior nodded. We are the descendants who left this world. Naruto stepped forward. Then why come back? The warrior looked toward the moon. Because your ancestors stole something from us. Quote. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. What? The warrior raised his hand. A massive silver sphere appeared above Konoha. Chakra. The sphere began pulling chakra from the village. Shinobi collapsed across the streets. Naruto immediately released Kurama's chakra. Stop. He jumped toward the sphere. The Moon Clan warrior blocked him. Naruto attacked. The warrior caught his fist. Naruto's eyes widened. The warrior threw him across the battlefield. Sasuke appeared behind the warrior. Amano Tejikara. He switched positions with Naruto. Naruto immediately attacked again. Rasengan. The warrior blocked it. Sasuke followed with Chidori. The attack struck the warrior's armor. The armor cracked. The warrior stepped backward. So the legends were true. Sasuke looked at him. What legends? The Uchiha Hokage. The warrior smiled. You are the first Uchiha to lead the village. Quote. Sasuke tightened his grip. And I'll be the last one you threaten. Suddenly, the silver sphere above Konoha began expanding. Sasuke looked upward. Naruto. Naruto understood. That's not an attack. Quote. Sasuke nodded. It's a harvesting device. The Moon Clan had not come to conquer Konoha. They had come to collect its chakra. And their real target was already approaching from the moon. A massive silver portal opened in the sky. Ray stepped through. He looked down at Sasuke and Naruto. The age of the shinobi is over. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. No. Naruto's chakra erupted around him. The new era has just begun. The silver portal opened wider above Konoha. Ray slowly descended from the sky. His pale eyes looked across the village. Your world has grown strong. He looked at Sasuke. But strength without understanding is meaningless. Sasuke raised his sword. Then explain yourself. Ray pointed toward the moon. Our ancestors left this world because they feared what chakra would become. Naruto stepped forward. And now you want it back. Ray nodded. The chakra belongs to the Moon Clan. Naruto's expression hardened. Chakra doesn't belong to anyone. Ray smiled. That is exactly why you must lose it. He raised his hand. The silver sphere above Konoha released a massive beam. Sasuke activated Perfect Susanoo. The beam struck the Susanoo. The entire village shook. Naruto created hundreds of shadow clones. Everyone, attack the sphere. The Shinobi Alliance Guardians launched their attacks. Gaara's sand surrounded the sphere. The Raikage struck it with lightning. Sakura attacked its outer shell. Sai's ink beasts wrapped around it. But the sphere continued absorbing chakra. Shikamaru shouted, "It's redirecting every attack." Sasuke understood. We can't destroy it from outside. Naruto looked at him. Then we go inside. Sasuke nodded. The two jumped toward the sphere. Ray appeared in front of them. You will not reach it. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. Amano Tejikara. He switched places with a nearby piece of debris. Naruto appeared beside him. Rasengan. Ray blocked the attack. Sasuke attacked from the opposite side. Chidori. Ray barely avoided it. Naruto and Sasuke attacked together. For the first time, Ray was forced backward. He looked at them with surprise. You have improved. Sasuke replied. We've had a lot of practice. Quote, Naruto smiled. And you're standing between us and our village. Ray's eyes changed. A silver aura surrounded his body. The pressure became overwhelming. Naruto felt Kurama react. Naruto. What? Quote, Kurama growled. His chakra is similar to the 10 tails. Naruto's expression changed. Then he's stronger than we thought. Sasuke heard him. We'll still stop him. Ray suddenly disappeared. A silver blade appeared behind Naruto. Sasuke blocked it with his sword. The impact pushed him backward. Ray attacked again. Sasuke used Susanoo. Ray broke through its armor. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. Now, Naruto struck Ray with a massive Rasen Shuriken. Ray was thrown into the silver portal. Sasuke immediately followed. Naruto entered after him. Inside the portal was another world. A massive floating city surrounded the moon. Sasuke looked around. This is where they live. Naruto stared at the city. Then let's find their leader. A voice echoed behind them. You already found him. They turned. A young man stood on a floating platform. He had silver hair and pale eyes. Unlike Ray, his chakra was calm. He looked at Sasuke. 7th Hokage. Sasuke raised his sword. Who are you? The young man answered. My name is Arashi. Naruto asked. Are you the Moon Clan leader? Arashi shook his head. No. He looked toward the enormous palace above them. I'm the one who will become their leader. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. What does that mean? Quote, Arashi smiled. Ray believes he can take your chakra. He looked toward Earth. But I have a different plan. Naruto asked. What plan? Arashi's eyes turned completely black. I want to destroy the Moon Clan itself. Quote, Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other. The enemy standing before them was not attacking Konoha. He was preparing to overthrow his own clan. And somehow, Sasuke knew their real battle had only just begun. Arashi stood before Sasuke and Naruto. The massive Moon Clan city floated behind him. Naruto kept his guard up. If you want to destroy your own clan, why should we trust you? Arashi smiled. You shouldn't. Quote, Sasuke raised his sword. Then give us a reason. Arashi pointed toward the palace. Because Ray isn't the real leader. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Who is? Arashi looked toward the highest tower. The Moon King. Naruto frowned. Moon King. Arashi nodded. He has ruled the Moon Clan for centuries. Sasuke asked. Then why is Ray attacking Earth? Because the Moon King ordered him to. Arashi explained that the Moon King believed Earth's shinobi had become too powerful. The Void Core had awakened. The ancient seals had been broken. And the 5 great nations had united. The Moon King feared that the new alliance would eventually become powerful enough to reach the Moon Clan. So he decided to strike first. Sasuke remained silent. Why do you want to stop him? Arashi looked toward the palace. Because I discovered the truth. Naruto asked. What truth? Arashi's expression became serious. The Moon King doesn't want Earth's chakra. He paused. He wants the chakra of the entire planet. Sasuke's Rinnegan activated. Why? To create a new body. Naruto's expression changed. A body. Quote. Arashi nodded. The Moon King has existed for thousands of years, but his body is dying. Sasuke understood. So he's planning to transfer his consciousness into a new body. Arashi looked directly at Sasuke. Your body. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Naruto stepped forward. He wants Sasuke. Yes. Arashi continued. The Uchiha bloodline, the Rinnegan, and the chakra you've gained from the root make you the perfect vessel. Quote. Sasuke tightened his grip on his sword. Then he made a mistake. Naruto smiled. He chose the wrong guy. Suddenly, the entire floating city shook. A powerful voice echoed across the Moon Clan's territory. Arashi. Arashi looked toward the palace. The voice continued. You have brought outsiders into our sacred land. Arashi clenched his fist. The Moon King knows we're here. Sasuke looked at Naruto. Then we don't have much time. Naruto nodded. Arashi opened a portal. This will take us directly to the palace. Sasuke stepped toward it. You're coming with us. Arashi smiled. I expected that. Quote. They entered the portal. Inside the palace, hundreds of Moon Clan warriors surrounded them. Ray stood at the center. You made a mistake coming here. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. Maybe. Naruto entered Sage mode. But you made a bigger mistake coming to Konoha. Ray raised his hand. Attack. The Moon Clan warriors rushed forward. Sasuke activated Perfect Susanoo. Naruto created dozens of shadow clones. Arashi released a massive wave of silver chakra. The palace erupted into battle. Sasuke moved through the battlefield with incredible speed. His Susanoo blocked attacks from every direction. Naruto's Rasengan destroyed multiple barriers. Arashi fought alongside them. For the first time, the Moon Clan warriors saw one of their own fighting against them. Ray attacked Arashi. You betrayed your blood. Arashi blocked his strike. I betrayed nothing. He pushed Ray backward. I chose the future. Ray's eyes became cold. Then die with it. Before the two could clash again, the palace doors opened. Everyone stopped. A figure walked out. Long silver hair, white armor, a crown made from glowing chakra. His eyes contained a strange combination of Byakugan and Rinnegan. Sasuke immediately felt the pressure. Naruto's Kurama chakra reacted violently. Arashi lowered his head. The Moon King. The Moon King looked at Sasuke. So this is the 7th Hokage. Sasuke raised his sword. You're not taking my body. The Moon King smiled. I don't need your permission. His eyes activated. Sasuke suddenly felt his consciousness being pulled away. Naruto shouted. Sasuke. The Moon King had begun the transfer. The battle for Sasuke's body had started. Sasuke's vision began fading. The Moon King's eyes locked onto his Rinnegan. A powerful force pulled at Sasuke's consciousness. Naruto rushed forward. Sasuke. Ray blocked Naruto's path. You cannot interfere. Naruto entered 6 Paths Sage mode. Get out of my way. He attacked. Ray blocked the strike. Meanwhile, Sasuke struggled against the Moon King's technique. Inside his mind, everything became dark. Then Sasuke heard a familiar voice. You are not strong enough. Sasuke opened his eyes. The Moon King stood before him. This body belongs to me now. Sasuke looked at him. You talk too much. The Moon King attacked. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. The two clashed inside Sasuke's mind. Every attack shook his consciousness. The Moon King was overwhelmingly powerful. Sasuke was pushed backward. You cannot defeat someone who has lived for thousands of years. Sasuke wiped blood from his face. I don't need to defeat you. The Moon King paused. Sasuke smiled. I only need to stop you from controlling me. Outside, Naruto and Ray continued fighting. Arashi noticed Sasuke's body becoming unstable. He's losing control. Naruto looked toward Sasuke. No. He remembered everything they had been through. Their childhood, their rivalry, their battles, their friendship. Naruto placed his hand against Sasuke's shoulder. Sasuke. Inside the mindscape, Sasuke heard Naruto's voice. Remember what you told me. Sasuke looked around. Naruto's chakra appeared beside him. You said a Hokage doesn't have to carry everything alone. Quote. Sasuke smiled. You're right. Naruto's chakra merged with Sasuke's. The Moon King stepped backward. Impossible. Sasuke's Rinnegan began glowing. You forgot one thing. He looked directly at the Moon King. My body isn't yours. The Moon King attacked again. Sasuke activated Susanoo inside his own consciousness. The Moon King was struck and thrown backward. Outside, Sasuke's body suddenly stopped shaking. His eyes opened. The Moon King's transfer failed. Naruto smiled. Knew you could do it. Sasuke stood. I couldn't have done it without you. Naruto grinned. Don't get emotional. The Moon King became furious. You rejected my power. Sasuke raised his sword. I rejected your control. The Moon King released his full chakra. The entire palace began collapsing. Arashi shouted, we have to get out. Ray looked toward the Moon King. Your Majesty, stop. The Moon King ignored him. If I cannot possess the Uchiha, I will simply destroy him. A massive sphere of silver chakra formed above Sasuke. Naruto looked at it. That's huge. Quote. Sasuke activated perfect Susanoo. We'll destroy it together. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. Arashi gathered his silver chakra. Even Ray joined them. The three forces combined. The Moon King's attack descended. Now, Sasuke's Susanoo fired a massive arrow. Naruto launched a gigantic Raisin Shuriken. Arashi released a concentrated silver beam. All three attacks collided with the Moon King's sphere. The explosion shook the entire moon. The palace shattered. The Moon King was thrown backward. But when the smoke cleared, he was still standing. His armor was damaged. His expression was furious. He looked at Sasuke. You have forced me to use my true power. Quote. The Moon King's eyes changed. The entire moon began responding to his chakra. Arashi's face turned pale. He's awakening the Moon Core. Sasuke looked at him. What's the Moon Core? Arashi answered. The power source of the entire Moon Clan. Naruto clenched his fist. Then let's stop him before he gets stronger. Sasuke nodded. The three shinobi prepared themselves. Above them, the Moon Core began opening. And the Moon King finally revealed his true form. The Moon Core opened above the palace. A massive silver chakra storm covered the entire moon. The Moon King floated into the center of it. His white armor shattered. Silver markings spread across his body. His eyes changed into a strange combination of Rinnegan and Byakugan. Arashi stared in disbelief. This is his true form. Ray looked terrified. The Moon King has never shown this power. Quote. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. The Moon King looked at them. Now you will understand why the Moon Clan ruled this world from the shadows. He raised his hand. The moon itself began moving. Massive pieces of rock floated into the sky. Naruto looked around. He can control the moon. Arashi shook his head. No. He looked toward the Moon Core. The moon is controlling itself through him. Quote. Sasuke understood. Then we destroy the connection. The Moon King attacked. A massive silver wave rushed toward them. Sasuke activated perfect Susanoo. Naruto created hundreds of shadow clones. Arashi formed a massive silver barrier. The attack destroyed the barrier instantly. Sasuke and Naruto were thrown backward. The Moon King appeared in front of Sasuke. You have the Rinnegan. He grabbed Sasuke's arm. But you have never understood its true power. Sasuke tried to escape. The Moon King began draining his chakra. Naruto rushed toward them. Let him go. The Moon King pushed Sasuke aside. Naruto attacked with a massive Rasengan. The Moon King caught it. Naruto's eyes widened. The Moon King crushed the Rasengan with one hand. Then he struck Naruto. Naruto crashed through several walls. Sasuke. Sasuke stood up. His eyes became cold. You made one mistake. The Moon King looked at him. What mistake? Sasuke pointed toward Naruto. You underestimated him. Naruto stood again. Kurama's chakra exploded around him. The Moon King stared. The 9 tails. Naruto smiled. Not just the 9 tails. Six Paths chakra spread across his body. Sasuke's chakra connected with his. The two powers began merging. Arashi watched them. Their chakra is synchronizing. Quote, Sasuke raised his sword. Naruto gathered a massive Rasengan. We've fought enemies stronger than us before. Naruto smiled. And we always find a way. The Moon King attacked again. Sasuke switched positions with Naruto. Amano Tejikara. Naruto appeared directly above the Moon King. Raisen Shuriken. The attack struck. Sasuke followed with a massive Susanoo arrow. The Moon King was sent crashing into the moon core. The core cracked. Arashi's eyes widened. That's it. Sasuke looked at him. What? The moon core is connected to his body. Naruto understood. If we destroy it, he loses his power. Arashi shook his head. If you destroy it completely, the moon will collapse. Sasuke became serious. Then we don't destroy it. Naruto looked at him. We separate him from it. Sasuke nodded. Exactly. The Moon King emerged from the crater. His body was damaged, but his power was still enormous. He looked toward Sasuke. You believe you can separate me from the moon core? Sasuke raised his sword. Yes. The Moon King smiled. Then try. Quote, Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. Arashi prepared his silver chakra. The three stood together. For the first time, the Moon King looked uncertain. Sasuke spoke. This ends here. Naruto added. Not with another war. Arashi raised his hand. But with a new future. The three attacked simultaneously. The battle for the moon core had begun. Sasuke, Naruto, and Arashi attacked together. The Moon King raised both hands. A massive silver barrier appeared. Their combined attack struck it. The entire moon shook. Sasuke shouted, Arashi, now. Arashi flew toward the moon core. Ray appeared beside him. I'll help. Arashi looked surprised. You. Ray nodded. I served the Moon King for centuries. He looked toward the battlefield. But I won't allow him to destroy our home. The two brothers reached the moon core. They placed their hands on opposite sides. Silver chakra began flowing through the core. Arashi shouted, Sasuke. Sasuke understood. He activated his Rinnegan. Naruto. Naruto gathered Six Paths chakra. Ready. Sasuke used Amano Tejikara. The connection between the Moon King and the core shifted. The Moon King suddenly screamed. What are you doing? Sasuke replied. Separating you from the power you stole. Quote, the Moon King released an enormous burst of chakra. Naruto created a massive chakra barrier. The blast hit him directly. Naruto struggled to hold it. Sasuke, hurry. Sasuke increased the power of his Rinnegan. The connection began breaking. The Moon King's silver markings started disappearing. No. He rushed toward Sasuke. Sasuke blocked him with Susanoo. The Moon King struck the Susanoo repeatedly. Cracks spread across its armor. Sasuke's chakra began weakening. Naruto shouted, hold on. Sasuke answered, I am. The Moon King broke through the Susanoo. His hand reached toward Sasuke. But Naruto appeared between them. The Moon King attacked. Naruto blocked the strike. Sasuke used the opening. Amano Tejikara. The Moon King suddenly appeared inside the ceiling formation created by Arashi and Ray. The moon core released a massive wave of silver chakra. The Moon King screamed. His connection was finally broken. The silver aura disappeared from his body. He fell to the ground. Sasuke landed beside him. The Moon King looked up. You have destroyed everything. Quote, Sasuke shook his head. No. He looked toward the moon core. We saved it. Arashi and Ray stabilized the core. The moon stopped shaking. The palace stopped collapsing. The Moon King tried to stand. But he no longer had the power to do so. Naruto walked toward him. It's over. The Moon King looked at him. Why didn't you kill me? Naruto smiled. Because that's how the old era worked. Sasuke continued. The new era has different rules. The Moon King lowered his head. For the first time in thousands of years, he had lost. Arashi stepped forward. The Moon Clan will no longer rule Earth. Sasuke nodded. Then we have an agreement. Arashi looked toward him. What agreement? The Moon Clan and the Shinobi nations will exist independently. Arashi smiled. And no one will steal chakra from the other. Quote, Sasuke extended his hand. Arashi accepted it. The ancient conflict between Earth and the Moon finally ended. Several days later, Sasuke and Naruto returned to Konoha. The villagers gathered outside the gates. Naruto raised his hand. "We're back." The crowd cheered. Sasuke walked quietly behind him. Sakura smiled when she saw them. "About time." Shikamaru sighed. Another crisis solved. Sasuke looked at the village. The new ninja era had survived another threat. But this time, something was different. The Moon Clan had become an ally. The 5 great nations remained united. And the ancient enemies of the shinobi world were finally beginning to understand one another. That evening, Sasuke stood on the Hokage monument. Naruto joined him. "You know, being Hokage looks good on you." Sasuke smiled. "You should try it someday." Naruto laughed. "Maybe." They looked toward the sky. The moon shone peacefully above Konoha. Sasuke knew there would always be threats. There would always be enemies. But the new ninja era was no longer built around fear. It was built around unity. And for the first time, Sasuke Uchiha believed the future was truly in safe hands. 1 year had passed since the Moon Clan conflict. The shinobi world had entered its most peaceful period in history. The 5 great nations remained united. The Moon Clan shared ancient knowledge with Earth. And Konoha had become a center for cooperation between different villages. Sasuke stood in the Hokage's office, looking at a report. Naruto entered carrying several documents. More paperwork. Sasuke looked up. "Yes." Naruto dropped the documents onto the desk. "Then I have good news." Sasuke raised an eyebrow. "What?" "The academy wants you to speak to the students." Sasuke looked surprised. "Why me?" Naruto smiled. "Because you're Hokage." Sasuke sighed. "I've fought gods, ancient warriors, and an entire clan from the moon." Naruto laughed. "And now you're afraid of children." Sasuke gave him a serious look. Children are unpredictable. That afternoon, Sasuke arrived at the academy. Hundreds of young shinobi gathered around him. One student raised his hand. "Hokage-sama." Sasuke nodded. "What is it? Is it true that you used to be Naruto's enemy?" The entire classroom became silent. Naruto, who was standing outside the window, started laughing. Sasuke looked toward him. Naruto quickly disappeared. Sasuke turned back toward the students. "Yes," another student asked. "Then how did you become friends?" Sasuke thought for a moment. "We fought." The children looked confused. "That's it." Sasuke shook his head. "No." He looked toward the village outside. "We learned that being different doesn't mean being enemies." The students listened carefully. "Naruto and I had different dreams, different beliefs, and different paths." Quote. He paused. "But we chose to protect the same future." A young student raised his hand. "Does that mean anyone can become Hokage?" Sasuke smiled. "Anyone who is willing to protect others." The classroom erupted with excitement. Outside, Naruto watched silently. Sakura joined him. "He's changed." Naruto smiled. "Yeah." Meanwhile, far away from Konoha, a young shinobi walked through an ancient forest. He carried a strange black scroll. The symbol on the scroll belonged to the ancient shinobi. He stopped beside an old stone monument. "Seventh Hokage." A voice came from the darkness. "You were supposed to be dead." The young shinobi smiled. "Death is only a problem for people who don't know the truth." He opened the scroll. Inside was a map of the entire shinobi world. But there was something strange. 5 red marks appeared across the map. One in each great nation. The young shinobi touched the first mark. The Moon King failed. He touched the second. The Void Core failed. Then he touched the third. The ancient shinobi failed. His smile grew wider. But they all made the same mistake. A shadow emerged behind him. "What mistake?" The young shinobi answered. "They attacked the shinobi world from outside." He looked toward Konoha. "I'll destroy it from within." Back in Konoha, Sasuke suddenly felt a strange chakra disturbance. His Sharingan activated. He looked toward the academy. Something was wrong. Naruto noticed his expression. "What happened?" Sasuke stood up. "I don't know." He looked toward the village. "But someone has entered Konoha." Naruto's smile disappeared. "Enemy." Sasuke shook his head. "That's the problem." Quote. He looked at the academy. "I can't sense any hostile chakra." Naruto understood. Then they're hiding it. Sasuke put on his Hokage cloak. Find Sakura and Shikamaru. Naruto nodded. The new era had created peace. But somewhere inside Konoha, a new enemy had already begun its plan. Sasuke and Naruto moved through the academy without making a sound. The students had already been sent home. Only a few instructors remained inside. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. Nothing. No strange chakra. No foreign presence. Naruto whispered, "Whoever entered the village is hiding their chakra perfectly." Sasuke nodded. "That's what worries me." Quote, Shikamaru arrived with Sakura. "Any idea who we're looking for?" Sasuke shook his head. "No." Sakura asked. "Then how do we find them?" Sasuke looked toward the academy. "We don't." Shikamaru frowned. "We wait." Sasuke nodded. "The enemy believes we haven't noticed them." Naruto smiled. "So we'll let them make the first move." That evening, the village returned to normal. Shinobi walked through the streets. Children played near the academy. Shopkeepers closed their stores. Everything looked peaceful. But Sasuke had secretly placed Anbu around the village. Every entrance was monitored. Every major building was watched. At midnight, something happened. The academy lights suddenly turned on. Sasuke immediately appeared outside. Naruto landed beside him. Someone's inside. They entered. The academy was completely empty. Sasuke walked toward the classroom. A single student notebook lay on the desk. Naruto picked it up. "What's this?" Sasuke examined the pages. Every page contained the same symbol. The ancient shinobi's symbol. Sakura arrived. That symbol was supposed to disappear after the void core was sealed. Sasuke shook his head. It didn't disappear. Shikamaru looked at the notebook. It changed. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. The symbol transformed. A hidden message appeared. The Hokage protects the village from outside threats. A second line appeared. But who protects the village from the Hokage? Naruto became serious. What does that mean? Sasuke looked toward the classroom door. It means they want us to question each other. Shikamaru nodded. Psychological warfare. Suddenly, an explosion shook the academy. Sasuke and Naruto rushed outside. 3 masked shinobi stood on the roof. One of them raised his hand. 7th Hokage. Sasuke stared at him. "Who are you?" The masked shinobi removed his mask. He was young, maybe 17 years old. His face looked completely ordinary. But his eyes were strange. A black Sharingan appeared. Sasuke's expression changed. "An Uchiha." The boy smiled. "You recognize the eyes." Quote, Naruto stepped forward. "What's your name?" The boy answered, "Ren Uchiha." Sasuke froze. There was no record of an Uchiha named Ren. The boy continued, "My family survived the massacre." Sasuke's expression became cold. "That's impossible." Ren smiled. "That's what they wanted you to believe." Sasuke's Sharingan focused on him. "Who are you working for?" Ren looked toward the Hokage monument. "The people who know the truth about the Uchiha." Quote, Sasuke raised his sword. "Then tell me the truth." Ren laughed. "Not yet." He formed a hand sign. The other masked shinobi disappeared. Ren remained. "First, I want you to answer one question." Quote, Sasuke stared at him. Ren pointed toward the Hokage monument. "Why should an Uchiha trust the village that destroyed his clan?" Sasuke remained silent. Naruto stepped forward. "Because Sasuke chose to protect it." Quote, Ren looked at Naruto. "You aren't an Uchiha." Naruto smiled. "No." He stood beside Sasuke. "But I'm his friend." Ren's expression changed. For the first time, his confidence disappeared. Sasuke noticed it. "You don't hate Konoha." Ren clenched his fist. "You don't know anything about me." Sasuke lowered his sword. "Then tell me." Ren stared at him. "I'll tell you everything." He paused. "After I show you what Konoha did to my family." Quote, Ren disappeared. Sasuke looked toward Naruto. Naruto asked, "Do you believe him?" Sasuke looked at the empty rooftop. "I don't know." He tightened his fist. "But if he's telling the truth, then someone has been hiding a secret from the 7th Hokage." Quote, the next morning, Sasuke called an emergency meeting. Naruto, Sakura, Shikamaru, Kakashi, and Sai gathered inside the Hokage office. Sasuke placed Ren's photograph on the table. "His name is Ren Uchiha." Quote, Kakashi stared at the photograph. I've never heard of him. Sasuke looked at him. That's exactly what concerns me. Shikamaru opened the old village records. There are no records of any surviving Uchiha after the massacre except Sasuke. Quote, Sakura asked, could the records have been altered? Kakashi became serious. It's possible. Sasuke looked toward him. Who had access to those records? Kakashi answered, the Hokage administration, the Anbu archives, and a few senior officials. Quote, Shikamaru immediately understood. Someone inside Konoha could have erased Ren's family from history. Naruto clenched his fist. Then we find out who. Sasuke nodded. Not by guessing. He stood. By finding evidence. That afternoon, Sasuke entered the deepest section of the village archives. The room contained records from before the Fourth Great Ninja War. Sasuke searched through documents about the Uchiha. Nothing. Then he noticed something strange. One section of the archive had been sealed. The seal carried an old Hokage authorization. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. The seal disappeared. Inside was a single scroll. He opened it. His eyes widened. The scroll contained a list of Uchiha survivors. There were 7 names. Sasuke, and 6 others. Naruto entered the room. You found something. Sasuke handed him the scroll. Naruto read the names. Ren Uchiha. Sasuke nodded. He was only 4 years old when the massacre happened. Naruto looked confused. Then how did he survive? Sasuke read the final section. His family was secretly moved outside Konoha before the massacre. Quote, Naruto looked at him. By whom? Sasuke's expression became serious. Danzo. Silence filled the room. Sasuke continued reading. Danzo created a secret group of Uchiha survivors. Naruto frowned. Why? Sasuke looked at the final line. To study the Sharingan. Naruto's expression changed. So Ren's family wasn't hiding. Sasuke nodded. They were being used. Suddenly, the scroll began burning. Sasuke immediately used his chakra to preserve it. But before the fire could spread, a voice echoed through the archive. You weren't supposed to find that. Sasuke turned. Ren stood in the doorway. Naruto stepped forward. You knew. Ren nodded. I've known my entire life. Sasuke looked at him. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to discover it yourself. Sasuke raised his sword. Where is your family? Ren's expression changed. Dead. Naruto became silent. Ren continued. Danzo's organization experimented on us. He clenched his fist. They wanted to create Uchiha who could control their Sharingan without emotional instability. Quote, Sasuke's eyes narrowed. And you escaped. Ren nodded. Only me. Sasuke lowered his sword. Then who is behind you? Ren looked at him. The person who rescued me. Sasuke asked. Who? Ren pointed toward the door. A masked figure slowly entered the archive. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. The masked figure removed his mask. Kakashi's eyes widened. No. Naruto stared at the man. Sasuke's expression became completely frozen. The man standing before them was someone Sasuke believed had died years ago. Ren smiled. You wanted the truth. The man looked directly at Sasuke. Then let me tell you everything. He was an Uchiha, and he had been hiding inside Konoha for years. Sasuke stared at the man standing in the archive. His Sharingan was fully activated. Who are you? The man slowly removed his cloak. My name is Daichi Uchiha. Quote, Sasuke's eyes widened. Daichi. Daichi nodded. I was one of the Uchiha survivors. Naruto looked confused. But the records said you were dead. Daichi smiled bitterly. Those records were created by the same people who wanted us forgotten. Quote, Sasuke stepped closer. How did you survive? Daichi answered. Your brother knew. Sasuke froze. Itachi. Daichi nodded. Itachi discovered Danzo's secret experiments. Sasuke's expression became serious. He told you. Before the massacre. Daichi explained that Itachi had discovered several Uchiha children and families being secretly taken away. He tried to protect them. But he couldn't save everyone. Daichi continued. Your brother made a deal with me. Sasuke asked. What deal? Protect the surviving Uchiha. Sasuke clenched his fist. And you failed. Daichi looked down. I protected Ren. Quote, he pointed toward the young Uchiha. But I couldn't save the others. Ren lowered his head. Sasuke looked at him. Why did you come back to Konoha? Ren answered. Because I wanted answers, Sasuke asked. And now? Ren looked directly at him. Now I want justice. Naruto stepped forward. Justice doesn't mean destroying the village. Ren's eyes hardened. You don't understand. Naruto shook his head. I understand more than you think. Ren looked at him. Naruto continued. I once hated this village too. Sasuke looked at Naruto. But I chose not to let that hatred decide my future. Ren remained silent. Daichi suddenly spoke. Ren doesn't want to destroy Konoha. Sasuke looked at him. Then what does he want? Daichi answered. The truth. He placed another scroll on the table. This contains the names of every person involved in Danzo's experiments. Quote, Sasuke opened it. The list was enormous. Some names belonged to officials who were already dead. But several names were still alive. Sasuke's expression changed. These people are still inside Konoha. Quote, Daichi nodded. They built a secret organization after the Fourth Great Ninja War. Shikamaru entered the archive. What organization? Daichi looked at him. The Purification Order. Shikamaru's expression became serious. What's the goal? Daichi replied. To remove every bloodline they consider dangerous. Naruto clenched his fist. Uchiha, Hyuga, Kaguya descendants, Jinchuriki, and anyone carrying ancient chakra. Quote, Sasuke's eyes narrowed. They're targeting everyone. Daichi nodded. They believe the new ninja era is too dangerous. Sasuke looked at the list. Who leads them? Daichi was silent. Then he pointed to one name. Sasuke stared at it. His expression changed completely. Naruto looked over his shoulder. Who is it? Sasuke slowly answered. The current head of Konoha's Shinobi Council. Shikamaru's eyes widened. The council. Daichi nodded. He has been secretly rebuilding Danzo's organization. Sasuke folded the scroll. If that's true, then the enemy isn't outside Konoha. He looked toward the village. It's sitting inside my administration. Naruto stood beside him. Then we expose them. Sasuke put on his Hokage cloak. No. He looked at Ren and Daichi. We dismantle them. Outside the archive, an Anbu suddenly appeared. Hokage-sama. Sasuke turned. What happened? The Anbu looked nervous. The Shinobi Council has summoned you. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. For what? The Anbu answered. They know about Ren and Daichi. Sasuke became completely silent. Someone had already told them. Thanks for watching. Fire. If you enjoyed, What If Sasuke Became Hokage? A New Ninja Era, then subscribe to Animevisalor for more epic Naruto What If stories. Speech balloon comment, next part, if you want to see what happens next. Animevisalor, where every anime story has a new destiny.